Okay, so I'm here to speak to you today about what matters about creativity. And determining what matters and what doesn't matter about creativity is important for anyone who engages in this behavior and this activity, but especially for people who are starting out, for young artists. And I'm just going to use the word artists as kind of a blanket term for anyone who engages in activity, even if you're an accountant who cooks or something like that. A lot of young artists, I find, kind of skip this fundamental step where they're assessing their relationship towards creativity and what constitutes it and how that informs your process. Because they're born into designated wisdom and a history, and they inherit all this baggage and all this influence and the established systems of doing things. And it's comfortable to achieve success by playing this horse race and playing these parlor games. But determining what's worth paying attention to and what's not worth paying attention to can inform your process. So the way I kind of have a feel for what people expect of creativity and what they think that involves, or what they expect of you, what your audiences and what your critics expect from you. I find you can tell from the kind of questions you're commonly asked. So it's the kind of questions you get asked in interviews that recur a lot, or by people who are starting out and they want help, or their strange auntie at the wedding, or that kind of thing. So it's kind of like, what do you do? Describe your style. How do you come up with ideas? Where do you get your inspiration? How do you balance creativity with business, and so on? So the word creativity itself kind of connotates that you're coming up with something from nothing, that you're in this kind of, the role of the creator, this divine role, you're doing magic tricks, you're doing miracles, and you're pulling things from a space that other people don't have access to. And you're operating in a world that's to exclusion of everything else. So when you have the extreme stereotypes and the extreme cliches of the crazy artist who works alone, away from all the other rules and all that, it kind of smacks of the monster stories that kind of encapsulate the fears of the time. But this encapsulates our ideas about creativity within the figure of the outsider artist or whatever it is. The danger of doing this, though, is it's not just about like sidelining into a single personality our ideas about creativity. It also separates it from the rest of our lives. So when we walk into a business, there's a creative department, and then and the rest of your business is uncreative, and even within those roles, we separate it in the parts of our life. So it seems to correspond with the levels of freedom you're afforded, the levels of whether you're free from commerce or the influence of your audience or critics, or whether you don't have an art director. I think a more accurate description of the way creativity works, rather than coming up with something from nothing, is that you're just rearranging, or in my experience, and when I say in my experience, I mean not just in my own practice, but the way I've observed practitioners and my peers, is that you're really rearranging existing elements, all the things that always exist as they always have. But in rearranging things and uncovering things, you're making things clearer, and you're trying to achieve a deeper understanding of things. You're trying to penetrate something that's already existed. So a way of thinking of this is kind of like imagining if you were a caveman and you're trying to make fire, and you hit the spark with the stone and the flint, and you combine the heat with the friction and all these different elements. It's hard to imagine that you manifested fire, but that's a combination of the elements. You've put it into a form that where we can understand. And so now when I say fire, you have a clear understanding of it in your head immediately. The same with kind of like electricity, where it's an abstract idea, but until we've given it a utility, until we've given it, until we've harnessed it into an image and something that's aligned with the way our perceptions can grasp on our level, in this kind of like our scale, it becomes real to us within our sense of perceptions. Now more than ever. I think that was 5 minutes. But I'm like, I just started my speech. So that was kind of bad. Yeah, so I'll wrap up. But if you want to continue this, I'll probably be over there or something. But, yeah, thank you.